Hey, what's up YouTube, it's maplestoria. Welcome back to another video. For today's video, I would like to do a top 5 heavy weapon video. Now as you know me, heavy weapons aren't my favorite weapons because they are very slow and quite cumbersome to use at times. So let's try out, shall we? The first one will be the Grim Scythe. This is a weapon you can get from the Halloween specials. Now the Grim Scythe does have its own unique set and it has a very special super slash too. Now we don't start off too bad against Smaller over here, and we actually do get quite a fair share of damage with him. So the thing about heavy weapons is that they are super slow, but they also do a lot of damage. So if you manage to land any of the hits on your enemy, it would certainly cause a lot of damage. Now the problem is, if you can see, Smother is blocking many of my attacks, and attacks that your enemies block will only deal a fraction of the damage. Furthermore, heavy weapons aren't that great a combination to use with Block Breaker because it may not always trigger, and when that happens, your enemy just blocks the attack and you barely hit him. So as you can tell, I've resorted to using the magic to finish off Smother over here. Let us see if we can do better on a second round with a different enemy. So we go for the Stone Grove tournament again. And we get Whiplash instead with the Composite Sword. So this is actually a more difficult fight because the Composite Sword is so quick and good. Now we do miss a few hits, and the super slash does connect, dealing a lot of damage. So the first round isn't too bad with the Grim Scythe. It is slow but very heavy. With heavy weapons, I do like to start off with a downward slash to maybe knock them onto their feet, but if they block it, there's nothing you can do about it. And as you can tell, Whiplash is dealing quite a lot of damage to us, and we actually win because of damage return. This is because the Composite Sword attacks you really quickly and there's barely time for the animations of the Grim Scythe to finish. The next weapon is the Reaver, and we shall try it in Shogun's tournaments. So against the Gypsy with the Battle Hammers, you can probably try an upward slash. It is a little bit more quick to trigger than the downward slash on your heavy weapons, especially for the Servo Scythe, or as it is now called, the Reaver. The Reaver is a little bit more difficult to use because it is a techno weapon. That means extra unnecessary animations, and also a part of the reason why it is 4th on my list. So do get some distance between yourself and the enemy, if not your Reaver is not going to hit at all. So we seem to be doing okay with the Reaver so far, but Gypsy does have the better skills in the end after all, and of course the faster weapon. So do keep your distance, and maybe you can use some strong slashes for the Reaver. I really don't have many suggestions for this weapon because of its slow nature, but as you can see, as long as you hit your enemy, it deals a lot of damage. Again, we win by damage return, but I don't think that mattered over here. So we can choose our next weapon, which is the 大刀. Now we go to Widow's tournaments, or rather her survival, and with the 大刀you can start off with any move you like, either the upper slash or the downward slash. We actually get the first round by bleeding, but I think, if I remember correctly, this coin's weapon does not come with bleeding out of the box. And the ninja gets some axe hits of us, which is really painful, but we managed to win with the 大刀anyway. Maybe you can try the upward slash, it seems to be working for me in most scenarios. Bleeding is also helpful, but I'm not very sure if all of you can afford the enchantment, and if you could anyway, I wouldn't spend it on the 大刀. but you can try some different combinations. I figured out what works best for me is to get some smaller hits of the enemy, put some distance between yourself and him before using your super slash. Now I'm gonna exit this survival and not complete it because it is going to take too much time. The next weapon we have in the list is the two-handed cudgel. Let us head over to Hermit's survival and try that out. Now the two-handed cudgel has a more special animation, but that is also not exactly a good thing because it is pretty slow. As you can see, I was about to execute my super slash and yet again I tried to execute it, but because of the ninja's very quick swords, I could not finish the animation. And there's this slight pause right before you want to start the super slash, so make sure you time it well. As you can see, some strong slashes, backward slashes, upper slash and downward slashes aren't making contact because the swords are much faster and interrupt you. So keep some distance and just try and time your hits as well as you can. I don't think the two-handed cudgel comes with lifesteal as you see right there. It is also a coins weapon, I believe. Also, when your enemy blocks, the super slash deals next to nothing. So the best times to hit would be when they are on the ground and getting up. You can try a downward slash for that, and maybe just combine a few unarmed attacks. So I'm gonna quit this survival again, it's gonna take too much time to finish. Let us head over to the next weapon, the fourth on our list, and that is the butcher's knife. So the butcher's knife is actually one of the more usable heavy weapons in this game because it has bleeding right out of the box, and the bleeding effect is actually really helpful. I can actually say that it would be ridiculous trying to win any fight without the bleeding enchantment because butcher's knives are so slow and the range is terrible on this thing too, so you'll be winning most fights by the bleeding effect. Now you can try the upper slash or downward slash, but both of those are very slow on the butcher's knives. A good strategy would be to block your attacks and then try and hit your enemy with any kind of attack. Now as far as I'm concerned, the butcher's knives can give the enemy a bleeding effect even if they block it. So you can try and win most fights by bleeding and stalling the enemy out. Just make sure they don't kill you first. So we can try again with the butcher's knife, and we face off against Pickpocket who has stilettos. It is a very fast weapon. The Pickpocket moves backwards and avoids our upper slash. The downward slash doesn't give a bleeding effect and deals not much damage as you can tell. But most of your hits should get a bleeding off, and as you can tell, the bleeding effect is super strong on the butcher's knife because it is a boss weapon after all. The super slash on the butcher's knives is also a bit more unique, and you may want to keep actually quite a bit of distance on them before using it because you have a spinning animation when you use it, and as you can tell, it does take some time to execute, and we got hit by Pickpocket's magic over there. Now, one of the better combos to use on the butcher's knives would be the double fist because you would get to do that spinning slash animation, but it is done at close range and you have to be careful of that. So that's it for this heavy weapons video. I would suggest going back to the shop and actually reconsidering if you are really desperate on using heavy weapons. For me personally, I would just switch back to the monk's knives or any weapon that is faster really, because heavy weapons in this game are just too slow and unusable. That's it for this video. If you like my videos, please click that on the left to see my most recent upload, click the middle to subscribe to my channel, and the right for some videos you may enjoy. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.